I would like to talk about what Uta Hagen got right. Do you really want to know what happens when you dedicate your life to not just becoming a capable actor, but what it actually means to fully and deeply engage with the craft and become a true artist? In this video, I will discuss 7 things that legendary acting teacher Uta Hagen got right and help you digest some of her ideas on a deeper level. There is a revolution embedded in the work of Uta Hagen, a revolution that many actors nod and refer to. Her exercises are taught and practiced, her name is mentioned, her authority is rarely challenged, but the deeper implications of her approach are sometimes softened, diluted, or maybe even glossed over. If you truly follow what Uta Hagen is saying in some of her ideas, it changes everything. Not just in how you can approach the art of acting on a deeper level, but how you can truly think of acting as a profession, as a craft, and a way of life. Uta Hagen lived her life as a working professional actress and dedicated the later chapters of her life to teaching. She experimented with techniques in a similar way that Stanislavski did, and her discoveries not only served her in her own real-world professional experiences as an actress, but she was also able to articulate her discoveries to the aspiring actor. Let's dig into what she got right. Number 1, acting is not about becoming someone else. This is perhaps one of the most misunderstood ideas in modern acting. Uta Hagen insisted that acting is not transformation in the way that some may think. It is not about disappearing or losing yourself. It is about utilizing yourself, your experiences, your instincts, your truth, and allow those things to meet the circumstances of the character by using your imagination. But here's what often gets glossed over. If you're not consistently developing yourself as the instrument, there is no technique that can save you. Some schools of thought emphasize external results, accents, physicality, emotional expression, because those things are visible results and they're easy to mimic. You may be familiar with certain acting performances that you've seen that are technical marvels, but for some reason or another, you can't quite put your finger on it. You're left feeling empty. That's because the deeper human truth is often left out. But Uta Hagen's ideas, her work, is internal. It demands of the actor self-observation, emotional honesty, and in general, a willingness to learn more about our deeper selves as human beings. Even the great Laurence Olivier, who was legendary for his disdain for internalized acting techniques. Olivier was famous for saying, "Why don't you just try acting?" to Dustin Hoffman on the set of Marathon Man. Even Laurence Olivier was known to secretly discuss his characters with a therapist. Number 2, substitution is not about mining for emotions. One of Uta Hagen's most famous tools, substitution, is frequently misinterpreted. At its core, substitution is simple. You replace elements of the fictional world with personal equivalents that help make the stakes real for you. But somewhere along the way, this became something more along the lines of, and this is the misconception, think about the most traumatic thing that you ever experienced and dig it up and use that. That is an absolute distortion of what Uta Hagen really meant. She was not advocating for the actor to arbitrarily push for an emotion. She was teaching actors how to create specific sensory realities that trigger genuine responses, and how the actor must then elevate those things into the given circumstances of the character. Here's the real truth about all of this stuff. Over-reliance on mining our own personal shit leads to exhaustion, inconsistency, and emotional toxicity. In other words, it's not artful. Uta Hagen's real insight with Substitution was about how the actor opens up their imagination while grounding the character in human truth, not indulging in reliving emotional trauma. Understanding and mastering this is the true definition of practicing acting as a craft. Number 3, the magic as if is a discipline, not a trick. Rooted in Stanislavski, the magic as if was inspired as a creative tool, a disciplined pathway to specificity. Uta Hagen embraced it, and she also took it a little bit further. For example, as if this object represents the approval that I need so deeply. Or maybe something like this, as if I just lost everything. But Uta Hagen didn't intend this as some kind of shortcut. She treated it more like a disciplined, imaginative practice, one that required specificity, repetition, and a strong belief system. Uta Hagen's approach to the magic as if also demanded contextualization in the circumstances of the character. For example, what exactly is the situation for the character? Why does it matter to you as the character? What is it that you want right now as the character? And as the character, what are you doing to get it? Without those specific details, the as if is just an idea. Number 4, you are always playing an action. Uta Hagen's emphasis on actions is one of her greatest contributions. Every moment on stage or on screen is driven by an objective, and you are always doing something to someone. Not feeling, not expressing, doing. This is where some actors get lost. They chase emotional results instead of exploring actions. Why? Because emotions are seductive. They feel like proof that something's happening, but emotional results without action can often read as indulgent, general, and unclear. Some actors prioritize emotional display rather than discovering real behavior and life through the process of doing. Uta Hagen's work cuts right through that. If you're not pursuing anything, you're not acting, you're presenting. Number 5, the object exercise is the whole foundation. If you've studied Uta Hagen's ideas, you have likely encountered her object exercises. They can seem too simple or even tedious. Make a cup of coffee, pack a suitcase, clean your room. But here's the thing, as mundane as this might seem, these exercises contain the entire philosophy. The object exercises train specificity, concentration, and truthful behavior under imaginary circumstances. And here's the part that many actors miss. If you can't do a simple task truthfully, you won't be able to do a complex scene truthfully. Actors in their development often rush through this phase, eager to get to the scene. Then they get frustrated when they find themselves stuck just acting the lines. But Uta Hagen understood something fundamental. The quality of your acting is determined by the quality of your attention. And attention is strengthened in the smallest, simplest actions. For example, knowing what happens to your behavior when you open up a hot stove. How does that simple thing inform you when you've just burned the dinner that you were making for your long-lost lover? Or knowing how to talk and put your socks on at the same time. How does it shift when you're in a rush and you need to get your point across to your spouse before you leave? Or knowing how you truly search for lost objects and how that searching intensifies when the stakes are through the roof and your need to find that object is life or death. Uta Hagen once described the time that she took over the role of Blanche Dubois in A Streetcar Named Desire on Broadway. She only had a few minutes with Marlon Brando 30 minutes before the curtain went up. She said they rehearsed a little bit of one of the scenes on the set, and they knew their characters so well in that environment with those props, the dishes, the furniture, etc. And 5 minutes was all they needed to know that they could pull it off, even though they never performed the play together in front of an audience. Number 6, there is no shortcut to the truth. Now, this is the part that's hard to digest in today's book work now mentality. Uta Hagen's work was never packaged as a quick fix technique. It's not designed to produce instant results. Her exercises were not intended to give you a wow moment in your first day or your first week of trying it out. It was presented as a pure, practical, artistic process. And this goes for any long-term, effective acting technique. Learning a craft requires time, repetition, patience, and courage. Many actors are looking for transformation and breakthroughs. Those are definitely things that happen sometimes, but there are some modern acting techniques that get packaged, simplified, and streamlined. Unfortunately, this is extremely misguided. The truth that Uta Hagen points to is slower, less flashy, and less glamorous. You build a craft in the same way that you build anything else, incrementally. There is no hack to becoming a great actor. Number 7, your life is more precious than your craft. This might be the most radical idea that's embedded in Uta Hagen's philosophy. Your acting will only be as rich as your lived experience, your curiosity, and your engagement with the world. Acting techniques can shape and refine, but it cannot replace your life experience. What some actors misunderstand is this: if you spend all of your time in class, in rehearsals, and networking, but you never actually live or observe or experience life, you will eventually hit a ceiling. Uta Hagen's work pushes actors outward into the world. Uta Hagen encourages the actor to pay attention to people, observe behavior, and engage with the world outside of the rehearsal room, because that's where your material comes from. So why is some of this stuff glossed over? Because it's harder. It requires actors to take responsibility for their own development by cultivating a deep curiosity about everything about the human experience, the mundane as well as the extraordinary. For actors who stay with it, Uta Hagen's exercises offer something incredibly valuable: consistency, freedom, depth, and truth. In conclusion, Uta Hagen didn't just offer a set of basic exercises. She offered a way of working that resists quick fixes, transcends superficiality, and demands real engagement from the actor. The irony of all this is that her name is everywhere in acting education, but her deepest lessons are often misused or glossed over. If you take her teachings seriously, not just her words, but their deeper intentions, you may find yourself moving closer to something that really sparks. And that's only the beginning. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Click on the description below for links to our website and to learn more about the New Collective Acting Studio and our private coaching membership. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.